Welcome to my first ever long form video. I don't really have a specific plan for this video. I just wanted to get started because my quote has been lately is imperfect action is better than no action. Imperfect action is better than no action. Imperfect action is better than no action. As a content creator, as a perfectionist, I try to get everything to be dialed in, perfect, whether it's the video, whether it's a content strategy, whatever that thing is, I try to get it to be as perfect as possible. And as my mic is falling down right now, we are going to improvise. So let's just cut real quick. As you take more action, as you take more imperfect action, it leads to better and more action overall. So every single day I try to tackle the tasks that I need to get done to accomplish the most out of my day. And it's quite simple. You know, I was listening to a Tony Robbins podcast, and he was just saying, you know, you start to recognize patterns and in business, in life, in your habits. You start to recognize these patterns and you start to understand, okay, I'm doing this pattern. I'm going to the gym six times a week. That pattern's good, and that therefore I'm getting big. I'm doing more sales calls. Therefore, I'm getting more clients. Therefore, I'm closing more clients. I'm posting more content. Therefore, I'm getting better at making content. You get the point. There's patterns with things. And before, I used to be more of a perfectionist. I wanted things to be done a certain way. And don't get me wrong, there's a time and place for that. But there's also a time and place for getting shit done. You have to be able to get shit done. Rick Rubin talks about it in his book, The Creative Act, A Way of Being. He talks about finishing it. You have to set a deadline and you stick to it, and it doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to get it out there. And we as creators, as creative people, we like to make things as perfect as possible. It's gotta be top. It's gotta get all the things done before we launch it. And there's that side of me, but there's also the side of me of shit needs to get done as soon as possible. And the next thing that I want to go into is faith. You know, again, I was listening to a Tony Robbins podcast with George Janko. He's been killing it in the game lately. And Tony Robbins was saying this about faith. He said, everybody has faith. He's like, you know, when you're driving on the road, there's two sides of the street, obviously. Every single day there's accidents, there's people that die, but we still get in the car knowing that there's accidents, knowing that we might die, but we just have faith that we won't. And that's where faith comes in. You don't have to, you know, that's one thing that's happening right now. Everyone's trying to pick a side, pick a religion, pick a this, pick a that. It's like, find your connection with God. Find what that means to you and go down that path, whatever that means for you. You know, nobody gets to judge you other than the man upstairs, and your relationship with God should be your relationship with God, not what somebody else says. And that's one thing that I've kind of figured out this year, is that my relationship with God is my relationship with God. It's not what somebody else tells me my relationship with God should be. So when it comes to that and putting in a lot of work, I've noticed that in life, you know, you get these highs, and then you're faced with these lows. And sometimes I think God gives you everything you ask for so he could test you to see how you react. And recently he gave me everything I've been praying for, and he gave me that high. He gave me that mountaintop, and it's my high for right now. And he gave me the accomplishments, he gave me the opportunities, and then as soon as that was over, I felt it. I was like, I feel like there's a test coming. And it was weird because I felt it and I was being tested, and I was just purely reacting in a great way. In a way that I didn't even think I was going to react that way, but it was just basically my actions and my goals were really aligning this time. And I think with the fact that, you know, I got what I asked for, and God was like, okay, let's see if you're really about that. Let's see if you're going to come out here and do what you said you're going to do. Let's see if the goals that you're going after are the goals that you said you're going after for the reasons that you said you're going after them. You know, my goals are to retire my parents, be able to provide for them, be able to live a good life with them for the rest of our life on this earth. I'm trying to do that for them. And then you take a step back when somebody has a health problem, because you realize, screw the money, screw the businesses, screw all that. What they wanted all along was just your companionship, your love, your presence. That's the actual present. The present. That's the present. That's what they did want. And I'll speak for myself. It's when God has challenged me in a certain way, because He pretty much was like, here, you asked for this, you also asked for the challenges, because you can't reap without sowing. So He gave me all of it, and I purely think it was a test. And I'm hoping I pass. But again, it goes back to the point of, you have to find your relationship with God and what that means to you. Nobody can tell you, oh, that this is this way. No, screw that. Find what that means for you, and day by day, imperfect action is better than no action. It's engraved in my head right now. It's because it's so true. It's so fucking true. You have to take action, but we want it to be perfect. But what's better than no action? Imperfect action. So I will continue to stack imperfect action on top of imperfect action to get closer to my goals, because I'm okay with that. As long as I'm making progress every single day and I get closer to my goals, I am more than okay with that. So the point of this first episode on the YouTube is, I want to start posting more of these, and I'm going to try to make it more structured. And whoever does watch this, I truly appreciate you, and I hope you stick along with me for the journey, because this is a 10-year journey, and I am going to stick to it, and I'm going to try my best to post consistently. And yeah, I'm switching heavily on all my socials on posting and talking about what I have done and what I am doing, and growing my business and growing mentally and growing physically. So I'm gonna continue to share that on this channel. And the last thing I want to end off with is, imperfect action is better than no action. I want it to be engraved. If you watch this video, I want it to be engraved in your head, is that imperfect action is better than no action. And find what that relationship with God means to you. And I will see you in the next one.